is burning.
Nobody gonna take the blame.
But that's all right.
Don't tell me
You can cut this
how to
part
live
out.
my life.
Because I know.
When you, the world is on fire. The poison in the water.
Let's get some more pressing matters. Arkansas. The police officers out there, the police chief has declared that the probable cause he needs, the only probable cause he needs is statistics. I'm going to find the quote, the direct quote here. But basically the situation is after the shooting in Connecticut, the police chief says, well, look, we're going to make sure to keep our citizens safe. So anyone out walking about after dark will be questioned, will be ID'd, will be shaken up, Gestapo style. He was pretty brash. He was like, we're going to do this regardless. And if anybody has issues with it, that's great. But we have the authority to do this because statistically, criminals don't like to be asked questions. So we're going to ask everybody questions. And if you don't like it, then you shouldn't be walking around. There's armed guards out there. And even when he was pushed on the subject and said, well, how do you feel about this being scarily close to martial law? He recognized the comparisons and was okay with them, it seemed. He said, well, that's just how it is. That's how it's going to be right now. I'm determined to keep my people safe. And again, the comment on statistics being enough for probable cause, that is all is needed, is for a police officer to pull up some arbitrary statistic, which we can all, how about the statistics that say you're 18 times more likely to die from a police officer than you are from a terrorist? How about that? We can all pull up statistics, and they're saying criminals don't like to be talked to, so let's keep everybody safe. I mean, it's fear again. This is the only power that the elite, the system, the state, however you want to go about describing this monolithic beast that we are opposing, that's the only weapon they've had. That's the only weapon that fascism can survive, is through fear. And, I'm not much for isms, as I said earlier, and labels. I don't really like to get into labels too much, but recognize that you're a human being, and maybe we ascribe to different ideas of solutions, but when it comes down to it, we are human beings, and we are being opposed by psychopaths who have, the minority of the population has taken over the majority and learned to manipulate us and learn to create a system where people acquiesce and give up their power, and their power is as a human being, and also physically give up their guns, give up their rights, give up thinking for themselves. And this goes far, far back. Why would people put up with police marching through their streets in Arkansas, questioning them? Why would people put it up with it? Well, obviously they're being maneuvered, they're being controlled, manipulated by fear. When we are moved towards an emotional state of mind, we're much more manageable. You get the human all riled up, looking for justice. We have to make this stop. And if you saw Obama give his speech after the Connecticut shooting, he said, are we going to be the generation that does something about this, or are we just going to continue to let this happen? Again, playing on your guilt and your fear, playing on your emotions. Oh, do you really want to let another child die? Because that's what he's saying. He's saying this, and he even said, this could be in any town and any school in America. That's exact. I mean, it's so obvious that the propaganda and the way they're marketing it and trying to get the ideas out there. But what I'm asking you is, let's get past this socialism, the capitalism, the fascism. I mean, these are all systems of control devised by the same people. We can buy into one or the other. But when it comes down to it, the international bankers, these families who've been in control for a long time, who believe that they are better than us and that it's their God-given right, or maybe their alien-given right, to rule the people and to hold on to technology, not only physical technology and technology as we know it now with computers and things of that sort, and use the public domain to create surveillance technology and weapons, but the spirit technology, the technology of the mind, the technology that you have within your own brain by believing in yourself, by creating something powerful. That's what the conscious resistance is about. It's about waking up to, the beauty within yourself, with the God within yourself, empowering yourself. And that doesn't mean you can't still believe in Jesus or your own God, whatever your beliefs are. What I'm saying is you are of God. We are all of God. We are all of this universe, and we're in this together. Once we wake up to that and recognize that, yes, this is an intellectual war. This is a war on our mind. This is an attack on our soul. This is an attack perverting everything that is good and just about society and trying to corrupt it and turn it bad. And by doing that, they create a state of fear that allows them to march through the streets and request ID. And it is necessary to resist every step of the way, resist peacefully as often as you can. If you've seen my videos, you've seen me deal with the police, deal with the TSA in a respectful, conscious manner, while at the same time still asserting my rights. So last night, the conversation was something along these lines. And, the Arkansas thing, this is ridiculous. We have to do something, but how can, we were talking about within the Free Thinkers, how can maybe we can go drive out there and do some reporting. And then the conversation moved to, well, what would we do if tomorrow in Houston, they said we're going to be working with the National Guard or with, whoever it was, some type of military agency, or even HPD. If HPD themselves said, hey, we're going to bring out our SWAT gear and every citizen that's out on the street will be questioned, what would we do? What should you do? Well, that's up to you as a personal choice. But what I know that I would be doing, what I would recommend to every individual out there, and this is, again, of course, why the power of the community is important. So you wake up today, and that's what's on the news. Your local newspaper is announcing this. By the sunset tonight in your city, there will be martial law. What do? You get your cameras, you get your friends, you get your family, and you get as diverse as a group as you can. All ethnicities. You want women, you want children, you want men. Of course, you need everybody within your community to go out there and to bring your cameras. That's all you have to do. You go there. You go out there and you film them and encourage them and actively resist. Live stream it. Get it on camera. Show the people, look, the human spirit is still alive. People are resisting, and everywhere this pops up, we will resist. I'm determined to make sure that the state, the New World Order, whether it's global or just in this country, understands that Houston is free. There are friends of mine working to make New York free, working to make Arkansas free, to make Denmark free, to make Australia free, to make Canada free. And it is our job to make sure that our communities are free. And that's what I would do. For that, we actually are already under martial law. We've been under a state of martial law since 9/11. I've talked about that on other shows. Maybe we'll talk about it another time. But we have been in an executive state of emergency, martial law. I guess I called it diet martial law last time because, they do it incrementally. Plus, they just don't announce it. The media doesn't tell you that we're under martial law. So that's the reason we're seeing the NDAA and all these things taking place, and nobody really blinks an eye except for Ron Paul and a few others, is because they're not operating under the Constitution anymore. The Constitution is null and void because we have been in a state of martial law since the attack of 9/11, and Obama has extended this every year. Be aware of that. Yeah, we are in a state of martial law.
Change that we must embrace is not a simple change of political structure or economic policy, but rather a complete revolution of consciousness and awareness within the human mind.
We are witnessing the fall of the republic as tyrants try to make us all the subjects. They buy up newspapers, TVs, and magazines.